The moment I realized my own father had drugged my drink and sold me to settle his debts, I was already zip-tied on a marble platform with 50 men bidding on me like I was a rare collectible. But here's the thing nobody expected. The terrifyingly beautiful Korean man in the custom suit at the back wasn't raising his paddle. He was texting. And every time someone bid on me, his jaw clenched tighter, like he was deciding who to kill first, and I realized three things simultaneously. 1. My father had actually sold me to pay his debts. 2. The room full of dangerous men bidding on me smelled expensive as hell. And 3. The devastatingly handsome Korean man in the back corner wasn't bidding. He was glaring at everyone who was. That's when I knew. This wasn't just another Tuesday. This was the Tuesday that would either end me or change my entire life. Before you find out what happens next, I need you to do something for me. My mother looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Nobody cares about a black girl and a Korean mafia boss. You won't get 10,000 views on this." She laughed at me. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button to help me prove my own mother wrong, and comment where you are watching from. I'm begging you, don't let her win this. Now, back to the auction where my life is about to get wild. 200,000. Some balding man with too much cologne shouted. I rolled my eyes so hard I nearly saw my own brain. Sir, you can't even afford a decent to pay. How are you bidding on a whole human? The auctioneer, a greasy man named Victor, backhanded me across the face. Silence, girl. My cheek stung, but I refused to give him the satisfaction of seeing me cry. Instead, I smiled with all my teeth. That the best you got? My aunties hit harder than that at family reunions. A low chuckle rumbled from the back corner. The Korean man. He was probably 6'3" of pure danger, wrapped in a three-piece Tom Ford suit that probably cost more than my entire existence. Sharp jawline. Dark eyes that could cut glass. Hair styled in that effortlessly perfect way that Korean men somehow mastered. He looked like he'd walked straight out of a K-drama. If that drama was rated R for really dangerous. 300,000, someone else bid. The Korean man's jaw ticked. His fingers drummed against his whiskey glass. She's spirited, Victor announced, grabbing my face roughly. Beautiful. Young. Untouched. That's a lie, I interrupted. I've been touched plenty. There was this guy Marcus in college. Enough. Victor roared. 400,000. Another voice. That's when the Korean man stood up, and I swear the temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. He buttoned his suit jacket with deliberate precision, and every head turned toward him. 10 million, he said in English, his accent making the words sound like a promise and a threat. US dollars. Cash. The room went dead silent. Victor's eyes bulged. Mr. Kong, that's... Did I stutter? The man, Mr. Kong apparently, didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. Authority radiated off him like cologne. My heart hammered against my ribs. 10 million? For me? This man was either insane or... Actually, no. Definitely insane. Had to be. Sold. Victor practically screamed, dollar signs in his eyes. Sold to Mr. Kong J1. Two men in black suits appeared beside me, cutting the zip ties. My wrists screamed with relief, but before I could even process what was happening, J1 was striding toward me with the confidence of a man who owned everything he looked at. And right now, he was looking at me. Walk, he commanded when he reached me. I planted my feet. I don't take orders from men who buy women like they're ordering takeout. His eyes flickered with something. Amusement? Surprise? You'd prefer I let one of these pigs take you instead? Valid point. The other bidders looked like they collected restraining orders as a hobby. I'm giving you 5 seconds to decide, J1 continued, checking his ridiculously expensive watch. Stay here with them, or leave with me. 5, 4. I grabbed his arm. Let's go. His lips curved into the ghost of a smile. Smart girl. As his men escorted me out, I caught my reflection in one of the ornate mirrors lining the hallway. I looked like hell. My natural hair was a mess, my dress, the one Victor had forced me into, was too tight, and I had a bruise forming on my cheek. But I was alive. And I was getting out. J1 led me to a sleek black Mercedes that probably cost more than a small house. His driver opened the door, and I slid into leather seats so soft I nearly moaned. "Where are we going?" I asked as J1 settled beside me, way too close for someone who was technically a stranger who'd just purchased me. "My penthouse. You'll stay there until we figure this out." "Figure what out? You just spent 10 million on me. Pretty sure that makes me your... what property?" The word tasted bitter. He turned to face me fully, and up close, he was even more devastating. A small scar above his left eyebrow. Lips that looked soft despite the hard line of his jaw. Eyes that seemed to see straight through me. "You're not property," he said quietly. "You're collateral for a debt your father owes my organization. But I don't traffic humans, and I sure as hell don't keep slaves." "Then why bid on me?" "Because," he stopped himself, jaw clenching. "Because the alternative was unacceptable." There was a story there. A big one. But before I could press him, my stomach growled so loudly it echoed in the car. J1's expression softened almost imperceptibly. "When did you last eat?" "Yesterday morning." Victor wasn't big on the whole feeding the merchandise thing. His eyes flashed with rage so intense I actually flinched. He pulled out his phone and fired off a rapid text in Korean. "We're stopping for food," he announced. "I don't need." "Yes, you do." He looked at me. "And before you argue, understand this, you're under my protection now. That means you eat when you're hungry, sleep when you're tired, and tell me if anyone, and I mean anyone, so much as looks at you wrong. Clear?" I should have been scared. This man was clearly dangerous. Mafia. Probably had a body count that would make serial killers jealous. But instead I felt safe. "Crystal clear, Mr. Kong," I said, batting my eyelashes mockingly. "J1, he corrected. "You'll call me J1. Only if you tell me your favorite food." He blinked, clearly not expecting that. "What?" "Favorite food. If I'm going to be stuck with you, I need to know the basics. Favorite food, favorite color, whether you're a cat or dog person." "Terkboki. Black. And I don't have time for pets." I grinned. "See? Was that so hard? I'm Zara, by the way. Since we skipped introductions during the whole human auction thing." "I know who you are, Zara." The way he said my name, with that slight Korean accent wrapping around each syllable, did absolutely inappropriate things to my insides. The car pulled up to a Korean restaurant that was still open despite the late hour. J1 got out first, then offered me his hand. I took it, ignoring the spark that shot through me at the contact. Inside, the owner practically tripped over himself bowing to J1, who ordered in rapid Korean. Within minutes, the table was covered with more food than I'd seen in weeks. "Eat," J1 commanded, pushing a bowl of kimchi jjigae toward me. I didn't need to be told twice. 30 minutes later, I was stuffed warm, and being escorted into the most insane penthouse I'd ever seen. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city. Everything was sleek, modern, and screamed, "I have more money than God." "Your room is down the hall," J1 said, shrugging off his suit jacket. Underneath, his white shirt stretched across broad shoulders that had no business looking that good. "Second door on the left. My room is at the end. Bathroom is stocked with everything you need." "You're just letting me stay here? No strings attached." He loosened his tie, and I tried very hard not to notice how the simple action made him look even more attractive. "The strings are your father's debt. 5 million, to be exact." "Wait, you said you paid 10 million for me." "I did. Consider the extra 5 an investment in making sure no one else tried to buy you." He poured himself a drink. "Your father borrowed money from my organization. Couldn't pay. Decided selling his daughter was easier than facing the consequences." Hearing it said so plainly made my chest tight. My dad had always been a gambler, but this was next-level betrayal. "So what now? I work off the debt? Become your maid? You stay here safe, until I deal with your father," J1 interrupted. "That's it. No strings. No obligations." I studied him, trying to figure out his angle. Men like him didn't do charity. Why are you being nice to me? He met my eyes over the rim of his glass. Who says I'm being nice? Maybe I just don't like my property damaged. Thought you said I wasn't property. I lied. But his eyes told a different story. There was something else going on here, something he wasn't saying. Well, thank you, I said finally, for not being a complete psychopath. The night is young, he replied dryly. I laughed, actually laughed, and something shifted in his expression. Softened. Go shower. Rest. We'll talk more tomorrow. I nodded and headed to the guest room, which was bigger than my entire apartment had been. The bathroom was stocked with luxury products, and the shower had more settings than a spaceship. As hot water washed away the grime and fear of the day, I let myself process everything. I'd been sold. Bought by a mafia boss. And now I was living in his penthouse like some twisted Cinderella story. But I was alive. And J1, despite his cold exterior, had fed me. Protected me. Spent an obscene amount of money to keep me from worse fates. I didn't trust him. Not yet. But I didn't fear him either. After the shower, I wrapped myself in the softest robe I'd ever touched and padded back to the bedroom. On the bed was a shopping bag I definitely hadn't put there. Inside, pajamas, underwear, and a note in sharp, masculine handwriting. Thought you might need clothes that actually fit. J. I held up the pajamas, a silk set in my exact size, and felt something dangerous bloom in my chest. No. Absolutely not. I was not catching feelings for the mafia boss who'd literally purchased me. That would be insane. Right? I woke up to the smell of coffee and the sound of someone cooking. For a blissful moment, I forgot where I was. Then reality crashed back. Mafia boss, auction, $10 million. Right. I pulled on the silk pajamas J1 had left and ventured into the kitchen, where I found him standing at the stove in black slacks and a white t-shirt that should have been illegal. You cook. I blurted. He glanced over his shoulder. Good morning to you too. Sorry. It's just, you seem more like a personal chef type. I am. But she doesn't start until 9. He plated what looked like a traditional Korean breakfast. Sit. I sat, watching as he placed food in front of me with an efficiency that spoke of practice. Do you cook for all your acquisitions? You're my first. He sat across from me with his own plate. Eat before it gets cold. The food was delicious, and we ate in surprisingly comfortable silence until I couldn't hold back my questions anymore. So what's the plan? Do I just live here rent-free while you hunt down my deadbeat dad? Essentially. And what do I do all day? Watch Korean dramas and eat your food. His lips twitched. You watch Korean dramas? I've seen Crash Landing on You 7 times. Don't judge me. This time, he actually smiled. A real one. It transformed his entire face, making him look younger, less dangerous. No judgment. It's a good show. You've seen it. I'm Korean. It's required viewing. I laughed, and his smile widened. To answer your question, he continued, you can do whatever you want. Read. Watch TV. There's a gym on the lower level. Pool on the roof. Just don't leave the building without security. So I'm a prisoner. You're protected. There's a difference. Is there though? He set down his chopsticks. The men at that auction? They have connections. Friends. They're not happy I outbid them. Until I make it clear you're permanently off the market, you're a target. Off the market? Like, what, you're going to pretend I'm your girlfriend or something? Not pretend. He said it so casually, like he wasn't just dropping a bomb. As of last night, you're my fiancée. I choked on my rice. What? It's the only way to ensure your complete protection. My fiancé is untouchable. My property, he paused at my glare, my guest could be seen as fair game. You can't just decide we're engaged. I already did. Announced it to my inner circle this morning. He pulled out his phone and showed me a photo that must have been taken last night. Him helping me into his car, his hand protectively on my back. The caption was in Korean, but he translated, "Finally found the one. She's mine." "You're insane," I breathed. "Practical," he corrected. "This keeps you safe and solves several problems for me." "What problems?" "My father has been pressuring me to marry. Settle down. This buys me time." He studied me. "Unless you'd prefer I dissolve the engagement and let you take your chances with regular security?" I thought about those men at the auction. Their hungry eyes. Victor's casual violence. How long does this fake engagement last? Until your father's debt is resolved and the heat dies down. Could be weeks. Could be months. And what do you get out of this besides appeasing your dad? His dark eyes locked onto mine. "You safe and under my protection. That's enough." There it was again, that hint of something deeper. Something he wasn't saying. "Fine," I agreed. "But I have conditions." His eyebrow arched. "You're not exactly in a position to negotiate." "Sure I am. You need a fiancé who'll make this believable. I need to not feel like a captive." I leaned forward. "So here's the deal. I play your devoted fiancé in public, but in private, we're just roommates. You don't control what I do, what I wear, who I talk to." "Within reason," he interjected. "No contact with your father. No leaving without security. No posting on social media. Deal. And you take me on actual dates. If we're selling this, we need to actually spend time together." A slow smile spread across his face. "You want me to date you?" "I want this to be convincing. Plus," I grinned, "if I'm going to be stuck playing fiancé to a hot mafia boss, I might as well get some nice dinners out of it." "You think I'm hot?" "I think you have eyes and know what you look like." He laughed, a real genuine laugh that made my stomach flip. "All right, Zara. You have a deal. I'll take you on dates. But," his voice dropped, "when we're in public, you follow my lead. Don't argue, don't contradict me, and for God's sake, don't roll your eyes at me in front of my associates." I make no promises about the eye rolling. "Of course you don't." He stood, collecting our plates. "Go get dressed. Something nice. We have a lunch meeting with some of my father's business partners. Time to debut my beautiful fiancée." My heart stuttered. This was really happening. J1. He paused at the sink. "Thank you. For not being the worst-case scenario." His expression softened. "The bar is on the floor, apparently. Welcome to my life." As I headed back to my room to get ready, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was stepping into something far more complicated than a fake engagement. But for the first time in days, I felt something other than fear. I felt alive. The restaurant J1 took me to was the kind of place where they don't have prices on the menu because if you had to ask, you couldn't afford it. I wore a dress his stylist had somehow procured in the 2 hours I'd had to get ready. A sleek black number that hugged my curves and made me feel powerful instead of objectified. J1's eyes had gone dark when he'd seen me, his gaze traveling from my strappy heels to the natural curls I'd styled into a high puff. "You look." He'd trailed off. "Expensive." I'd supplied. "Perfect." Now, his hand rested possessively on my lower back as we approached a private dining room where 3 older Korean men in expensive suits waited. "Gentlemen," J1 greeted in English, probably for my benefit. "I'd like you to meet my fiancée, Zara." All 3 men stood, their eyes assessing me with varying degrees of surprise and approval. "J1SSI, the oldest one said, you've been holding out on us. She's beautiful." "Thank you, Mr. Park," I said smoothly, offering my hand. "J1 speaks very highly of you." That was a complete lie. J1 had barely briefed me in the car, but Mr. Park beamed. We sat, and I quickly realized this lunch was a test. These men were sizing me up, trying to figure out if I was worthy of J1, if this engagement was real, and what angle I was playing. So Zara, the youngest one, Mr. Kim, asked, "How did you and J1 meet?" I felt J1 tense beside me, but I smiled sweetly. Would you believe at an auction? The table went silent. Then I laughed. I'm joking. We met at a charity gala. I was there supporting my friend's nonprofit, and J1 bid an obscene amount of money on a date with me. J1's hand found my thigh under the table, squeezing gently. Whether in warning or approval, I couldn't tell. And you said yes to the date? Mr. Park asked. Eventually. I made him work for it. I looked at J1 with what I hoped was believable affection. He's very persistent. That he is, Mr. Kim agreed, laughing. J1 never gives up once he's decided he wants something. The rest of lunch went smoothly. I played my part perfectly. Charming but not overeager, intelligent but deferential to J1, warm but not inappropriate. By the time dessert arrived, all three men were eating out of my hand. Your father will be pleased, Mr. Park told J1. She's a good match for you. After they left, J1 and I remained at the table. His hand was still on my thigh, and he didn't seem inclined to move it. You did well, he said quietly. I know. I'm an excellent fake fiancé. I took a sip of wine. Though I have to say, the charity gala story was pretty good. Where'd that come from? You made it up on the spot. Yeah, but you didn't contradict me. Most controlling Mafia bosses would have been pissed I went off script. You didn't have a script. And I'm not most Mafia bosses. His thumb stroked my thigh absently, and I tried not to think about how good it felt. Besides, you were right. The truth would have raised too many questions. Speaking of questions, why didn't you warn me about this lunch being a test? Would it have changed how you acted? No. Then there was no point. He signaled for the check. Come on. I want to show you something. 20 minutes later, we were standing on a rooftop garden I didn't even know existed in the city. Fairy lights twinkled overhead, and the view was breathtaking. What is this place? I asked. Mine. I own the building. He led me to a seating area with plush couches and a fire pit. I come here when I need to think. And you're sharing it with me because you did me a favor today. Those men report to my father. They'll tell him you're real, that I'm serious. That buys me time. He poured us both drinks from a hidden bar. And because you looked like you needed air after being scrutinized for 2 hours. I accepted the glass, our fingers brushing. You're very observant. I have to be. In my world, missing details gets people killed. We sat on one of the couches, and for a while, we just looked at the city lights in comfortable silence. Can I ask you something? I finally said. You're going to anyway. Why 10 million? You could have bid less and still won. He was quiet for so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Then, because I needed everyone in that room to know you were mine. Untouchable. Worth more than they could ever afford. That's extreme, possessive, insane. He turned to face me. Yes, all of the above. But when I walked into that auction and saw you standing there, bruised and defiant, something in me just decided. You were mine to protect. Mine to save. Mine. My breath caught. J1. I know it's fucked up. I know I shouldn't feel this way about someone I just met. Someone I literally purchased. His hand cupped my face, thumb brushing over my bruised cheek with devastating gentleness. But I do. And I'm not sorry. I should have pulled away. Should have reminded him this was fake. Should have maintained boundaries. Instead, I leaned into his touch. This is a terrible idea. The worst, he agreed, leaning closer. We barely know each other. I know enough. His lips were inches from mine now. I know you're brave. Funny. Stronger than anyone I've ever met. I know you make me smile, which is rare. And I know, his eyes dropped to my lips, that I've wanted to kiss you since you first rolled your eyes at me. I roll my eyes at everyone. I noticed. His smile was soft, private, just for me. Zara. Yeah. I'm going to kiss you now. If you don't want that, say so. I should have said no. Should have kept this professional. Instead, I whispered, okay. His lips met mine, and the world exploded. The kiss started gentle, almost reverent, but quickly turned hungry. His hand tangled in my hair, while mine fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer. He tasted like whiskey and promises, and when his tongue swept into my mouth, I moaned. He groaned in response, his other hand gripping my hip as he deepened the kiss. We were all tongue and teeth and desperation, like we'd been starving for this without knowing it. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, his forehead rested against mine. Fuck, he breathed. Yeah, I agreed shakily. This complicates things. Understatement of the century. He pulled back just enough to look at me, his eyes dark with desire and something deeper. I should probably apologize. Take it back. Say it was just for show. I kissed him again, cutting off his words. When I pulled back, I smiled. Don't you dare. His answering smile was pure sin. Well then, fiancé, he murmured, his lips trailing down my neck, we should probably practice looking convincing. His phone buzzed. Then again. And again. Ignore it, I whispered. He groaned, but checked the screen. His entire demeanor changed, eyes going hard. Fuck. What? He stood, putting distance between us, his jaw tight. Your father. He's here. In the building. Demanding to see you. My blood ran cold. What? My security has him detained in the lobby. Jaewon's voice was pure ice now, the tender man from moments ago completely gone. He's threatening to go to the police. Claiming I kidnapped you. That son of a... Stay here. He was already moving toward the door. I'll handle this. Like hell. He's my father. Jaewon turned, and the look in his eyes made me freeze. Zara. Trust me. You don't want to be there when I deal with him. Why? What are you going to do? His smile was all teeth, sharp and dangerous. Whatever it takes to make sure he never comes near you again. And with that chilling promise hanging in the air, he left me on the rooftop, my lips still swollen from his kisses, my heart racing with fear and something that felt dangerously close to. What will Jaewon do to Zara's father? Will their passionate kiss change everything? And what happens when feelings get real in a fake engagement? Part 2 coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's prove my mom wrong and hit those 10k views and 1k subscribers. Drop a comment telling me what you think Jaewon should do to her father.